You're about to learn how a single sweet potato, scientifically known as ipomoea batatas, from your grocery store can turn into over 36 new sweet potatoes, and you don't even need a garden to do it. All you need is a container, some soil, a sunny spot, and a little patience. Here's the thing most people don't realize about sweet potatoes. You can't just stick one in the ground and expect a harvest. That's how regular potatoes work. But sweet potatoes play by different rules. If you bury a whole sweet potato in soil, you're probably going to end up with a moldy, rotting mess. Instead, you need to grow what are called slips, which are the rooted sprouts that emerge from the sweet potato itself. Each of those slips becomes its own plant, and each plant can produce 3 to 5 sweet potatoes. So from one single grocery store sweet potato, you can grow up to a dozen slips, and those slips can collectively yield 36 or more new sweet potatoes. The math is honestly kind of ridiculous. But before you grab the first sweet potato you see at the store, there's one critical rule you need to follow. You must buy organic. This isn't a health food lecture. There's a very practical reason. Conventional sweet potatoes are often treated with a chemical called chlorprofam, which is specifically designed to prevent sprouting. If you bring home a conventionally grown sweet potato and try to get it to sprout, you might be waiting forever. Organic sweet potatoes haven't been treated with those inhibitors, so they'll actually cooperate with you. Now, there is some debate about whether every conventional sweet potato has been treated, and some scientists point out that the difference in sprouting could come down to age and storage conditions. But why risk it? Grab the organic ones, and you'll save yourself weeks of frustration. Here's a fun bonus. If you happen to have an older sweet potato sitting in your pantry that's already starting to look a little sad and wrinkly, that's actually perfect. An older sweet potato will sprout faster than a fresh one, so don't throw it away. That forgotten pantry potato is your golden ticket. If this is new to you, hit subscribe. We uncover forgotten growing tricks like this in every video, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Now let's talk about how you actually get those slips growing. You've got 2 methods to choose from. The first is the soil method, which is what most experienced growers recommend. You take a shallow container with drainage holes. Something like a clean rotisserie chicken tray works surprisingly well. Fill it with moist, well-draining potting soil. Lay your sweet potato on its side on top of the soil. Then add more soil so the potato is about halfway covered. Keep it warm, around 75 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and keep the soil moist. A spot near a water heater or on top of a warm appliance works great. The second method is the classic toothpick-in-water technique you probably remember from elementary school science class. You stick 4 toothpicks around the middle of the sweet potato to suspend it in a glass of water, with the bottom half submerged. You change the water every 2 to 3 days to prevent bacteria. It works, but fair warning, this method has a higher chance of causing rot. And when a sweet potato rots in water, it smells absolutely terrible. So the soil method is your safer bet. Either way, you should start this process about 8 to 12 weeks before you plan to plant your slips in their final containers. In about 4 to 6 weeks, you'll see sprouts pushing up from the sweet potato. Let those sprouts grow until they're about 5 to 6 inches long, then twist or cut them off the mother potato. Place each slip into a mason jar with the bottom of the stem submerged in water and the leaves hanging over the edge. Within a few days, you'll see roots forming. Change the water every couple of days, and once those roots are several inches long, your slips are ready to plant. Now here's where it gets exciting for you apartment dwellers and patio gardeners. You absolutely do not need a backyard for this. Sweet potatoes grow beautifully in containers. You want a pot that's at least 12 inches deep, and I'll say that again because it matters. At least 12 inches deep, and big enough to give each plant some room. A 10-gallon container works for one plant. If you want to grow 2 plants together, go with 15 gallons. 3 plants, you're looking at 20 gallons. Fabric grow bags are popular for this, though some growers caution that certain bags aren't deep enough for full tuber development. Just make sure whatever you choose has good drainage. Fill your container with well-draining potting soil. Plant your slips 3 to 4 inches deep, and space them 12 to 18 inches apart if you're growing multiple plants in one container. Water them thoroughly after planting. Here's what your sweet potatoes need from you during the growing season. First, sunlight. At least 6 hours of direct sun every day. Second, warmth. These are tropical plants at heart. They want temperatures above 60 degrees Fahrenheit at all times, day and night. If you're growing on a balcony and nighttime temperatures are dropping below that, you might need to bring your containers inside. Third, don't overdo the fertilizer. Feed them at planting time, and then again mid-season when the plants start to flower, because that's when the tubers are actually developing underground. And here's something that might surprise you. Sweet potatoes actually like being a little cramped. Unlike most vegetables that want as much root space as possible, sweet potatoes seem to perform well in somewhat confined containers. That's great news if you're working with limited space. You're looking at roughly 90 to 120 days from planting your slips to harvest time. Most grocery store sweet potatoes are the Beauregard variety, developed at Louisiana State University in 1987 and bred specifically for Fusarium wilt resistance, which has a shorter growing window of around 90 days. That's a huge advantage if you live somewhere with a shorter growing season. Worth knowing. While Beauregard was once the undisputed king, the newer Covington variety released in 2009 has been overtaking it in commercial production, so don't be surprised if that's what you're actually bringing home from the store. You might also encounter jewel or garnet sweet potatoes on grocery store shelves, both solid choices that will sprout just as reliably. If you want varieties specifically bred for containers, look for Varieties or Puerto Rico. Varieties was named after a famous sweet potato town in Mississippi and has compact, bushy vines that won't take over your balcony. Puerto Rico, sometimes called the bush or vineless variety, is similarly well behaved. You'll know your sweet potatoes are ready to harvest when the vine tips start turning yellow. Gently dig around the base of the plant and pull up your tubers. But here's what you absolutely cannot skip: curing. A freshly dug sweet potato is starchy, not sweet. You need to cure it. Keep your harvested sweet potatoes at around 85 degrees Fahrenheit with high humidity, between 90 and 97%, for 4 to 7 days. A warm bathroom works, or a closed cabinet near a heat source. During this process, a protective corky layer forms on the skin. Scientists call this suberization. It keeps out pathogens and locks in moisture. More importantly, the starches begin converting to sugars. For the best flavor, you actually want to wait at least 3 weeks after harvest before eating them. After curing, store your sweet potatoes in a cool, dark place at around 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Whatever you do, don't refrigerate them. Temperatures below 50 degrees damage the texture and flavor. Stored properly, they'll keep for 4 to 7 months, and under ideal conditions, up to a year. When you try this, come back and drop your results in the comments. I'd love to see how many sweet potatoes you pull out of one pot. And subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. Now, even if you don't have room for a big container, there's one more angle you should know about. Sweet potato vines make gorgeous houseplants. Those heart-shaped leaves trailing from a pot on your windowsill aren't just decorative. The greens are edible and widely eaten across Africa and Asia. You can harvest the fresh-looking leaves throughout the summer and toss them in stir-fries or salads. One grower even reported that a sweet potato slip grown on a kitchen windowsill in a tiny 4-inch pot still produced a cute little sweet potato by the end of summer. So even at the smallest scale, you're getting something out of it. Let's zoom out for a second. One medium sweet potato gives you 120% of your daily vitamin A, 30% of your daily vitamin C, 440 milligrams of potassium, and only about 100 calories. That orange color comes from beta-carotene, which your body converts directly into vitamin A. Purple sweet potatoes pack 3 times more anthocyanins than blueberries. And just to clear up a common source of confusion, true yams are from the Dioscorea family and aren't related to sweet potatoes at all. What most American grocery stores label as yams are actually just a different variety of sweet potato. George Washington grew sweet potatoes on his Virginia farm. George Washington Carver developed 118 documented products from them, including flour, vinegar, molasses, ink, and even postage stamp glue. North Carolina has been the #1 sweet potato producing state since 1971, which is why the North Carolina Sweet Potato Commission is such a key voice in national growing research. The U.S. sweet potato market hit $771 million in 2024. You're tapping into something with serious history and serious nutrition. So the next time you're at the grocery store, grab an extra organic sweet potato. Set it in some soil. Wait a few weeks. Twist off those slips, root them in water, plant them in a container on your balcony or patio. And in about 3 to 4 months, you'll be pulling your own homegrown sweet potatoes out of a pot that's sitting right outside your door. No garden required. Just one potato and a little patience.